Hi, I'm John. I don't normally do this, but being online and seeing how people reacted to the release and even the tease, of Halo Campaign Evolved, I feel like as a fan of the series since I was old enough to hold a controller, I wanted to put my 2 cents in. I am not a professional Halo YouTuber, as you can tell by my gameplay of my playthrough of Campaign Evolved. I'm okay at the game. I'm not like Hidden Xperia, Cami Shep, or Installation 00. I don't have a big following of people that follow me. But I have loved Halo since I was a little boy. It inspired my desire to join the military as a kid, and I eventually did join the Navy. Would have been awesome if I made it to Master Chief, but whatever. And I've had many of the books growing up. I read The Fall of Reach. I read The Flood. Um, I had the Bungie era Halo visual guide. I had the old encyclopedia before 343. Now Halo Studios retconned a bunch of stuff. I remember when a flood keymind meant it was something greater than a grave mine that has never been seen. It was a hypothetical thing. But I've been with Halo for a long, long time. I was born in '99, and my Halo 1 came out in 2001. And not that I remember it releasing or anything, but I do remember my first time watching my dad play it, because me and my dad had a very interesting relationship growing up when I was growing up, because he did his best. But one of the things we bonded over was video games. I would sit on the back of the couch and I would just watch over his shoulder as he played Halo or Half-Life or what other game he was playing at the time. And Halo and Half-Life and StarCraft are my three biggest games when it comes to bonding with my dad. And Halo was the biggest because I saw a dude in green power armor with a badass alien gun, fight aliens, saving the human race. I loved it. And I'm a believer that every Halo game, good or bad, has brought something to the table that a previous game did not. Combat Evolved started it all. Halo 2 had its innovations and had an amazing story. Halo 3, amazing story. It gave you equipment. ODST gave you a, a view of the Halo universe through a non-Spartan's eyes. You're just a normal Marine. Well, you're an ODST, but um, still, it was a different perspective. You weren't a badass super soldier, and the gameplay reflected that. Reach was a heartbreaking story of the fall of a planet that was doomed the second it was discovered by the enemy. And I want to preface this by saying that everyone is entitled to their own opinions. And you don't have to agree with me, but I feel, as what I believe is a true Halo fan, wanted to go through and talk about Halo Campaign Evolved. Because I see some people say, oh, it's just a sloppy remaster of a previous game. Other people are like, it's innovative and blah, blah, blah. And everyone has arguments about every Halo game. Halo 5 this, Halo 4 that. And I'm just here to put my 2 cents in. And I have a little bit of a script going here so I can stay on topic. But there's a lot of divisiveness in the Halo community right now. And that breaks my heart because we're all fans of the same thing. Why aren't we seeing eye to eye, or at least understanding each other's opinions? After all, it's just a video game. So, there's 3 parts of this video coming up. The things I liked about Campaign Evolved, the things I didn't like, and then my own personal nitpicks. We'll start off with things that I liked about Campaign Evolved. Because this is my true, honest, heartfelt review of Halo Campaign Evolved. Things that I liked. First, can I just say the Master Chief is just gorgeous. His armor is awesome looking. That is the best rendition of Mark V, in my opinion, in any Halo game. And it looks like it fits really well. Another thing I really enjoyed were the weapons that were introduced that weren't in Combat Evolved, like the SMG, which admittedly I didn't use very often, but the needle rifle, I'll get back to the needle rifle later, and the fuel rod gun. And the Sentinel beam was another one that was a beast in this game. But it was really fun to pick up, and the energy sword. How can I forget the energy sword? But the energy sword and the fuel rod gun especially were nice to use, because in the original, in Halo Combat Evolved, you weren't able to use them. The fuel rod guns blew up and the swords would retract and you wouldn't be able to pick them up. So it was really cool. It felt almost like a hack, almost like someone modded the game, because of how cool it felt using the sword and the fuel rod gun. And the skins, not just for the weapons, but for the Master Chief himself, top tier. I really like the gold, I forget what it's called, but the gold etched Master Chief, which I wish showed up in cutscenes, but it doesn't apparently. But I thought that was a lot of fun. There's a lot of cool skins for all the different weapons and the Master Chief, and it's just really cool. And then there's level design. There's one mission most people that played Halo Combat Evolved didn't like. It was the library. How is it in Campaign Evolved? Well, if you've seen my playthrough, you'll see it is significantly better. It's not just walking circles around the main chamber, going up an elevator and then walking another circle and up an elevator and up, walking another circle. Matter of fact, there were elevators, but they weren't the big, massive. They were more like the Halo 2 elevators in, I forget the name of the mission, but you're stuck on the elevator for like 5 minutes, which annoying, but you're not stuck nearly as long in Campaign Evolved. But you gotta sit there and defend. I remember a distinct moment where I looked up and there's a rocket flood aiming right at me. I'm like, you gotta die right now. And it was significantly improved. And then another one I really enjoyed that they relaid out the level was Truth and Reconciliation, because that level could be a labyrinth as well. And another thing, side note, I enjoyed the fact that they added waypoints to where you need to be. Like, call me a non-gamer all you want for not knowing where I need to be, but sometimes it's hard to put together when there's 8 different directions you can go. And the waypoint system was nice without being overbearing. They did a really good balance on that. Vehicle boarding. I didn't really use it much because in my head I was playing Combat Evolved, and you can't do that in Combat Evolved. So I forgot that it was a feature. Same thing for Sprint. It took me a while to get used to Sprint in Combat Evolved or Campaign Evolved, because it felt alien at first. But once you got used to it, it was pretty fun. Another thing I really liked, the visual detail I liked, was during the flood missions where you see the flood biomass being gathered on the walls and the floors and the corners. It was awesome. And another change I saw, I don't know if this was intentional or just me playing on easy, because yes, I played on easy to get through the game quickly so I can upload it to YouTube without taking forever and dying a million times and doing all that editing. I just did it on easy to get it over with. Um, but in the mission of the Maw, when you go to the engine room to blow up the reactor, it wasn't quite as chaotic as it gets in Combat Evolved. And I really appreciate that. Again, I don't know if it was just me being on easy or if it was an intentional design, but I'll take it. Um, I think that's enough for the things that I liked. Now for things I disliked. This is short. Um, the first thing I said when I saw their remastering campaign Combat Evolved into Campaign Evolved was, where's Halo 7? Campaign Evolved was a fun game, don't get me wrong, but I would have rather gotten a Halo 7. Because right now the games are at like a pivotal point in the story, and we had to read a book in order to learn what happened after Halo Infinite. And like the UNSC Spirit fires back in UNSC controlled space on its way to Zeta Halo, if I understand that correctly. So that means the red team's going to reunite with the Master Chief potentially, and like there's all this stuff going on. We got a remake of the first game, which bummed me out a lot. Another thing I didn't like, as far as the game itself goes, Campaign Evolved, was the Warthog driving was strange. It was very clunky and very almost like the animations couldn't keep up with the movement, if that makes sense. I don't know how to explain it. It's just the driving of a Warthog is funky to me. And the second thing that I disliked was the sprinting. Almost useless. Because when I think of a Spartan sprinting, I think of like that one scene from the show that I saw of the one Spartan jumping up on the spaceship as it was flying away, like catching up to it and jumping on it. Like, that's what I think a Spartan looks like when they're running. But it wasn't like that. And Halo Infinite had the same problem to me. Like the sprinting was borderline useless. Not saying I don't like sprinting in Halo games. Actually, I think it makes sense because you're a badass super soldier. Why wouldn't you be able to sprint? And I'm glad they included it at all, but it could have been done better. So yeah, that's my small list of things I didn't like. Now for a slightly longer segment for my personal nitpicks. First and foremost, I feel like Halo Studios missed an opportunity to introduce a character from the book Halo the Flood, named Zuka Zamimi. For those of you who don't know who that is, in Halo the Flood, the novel, the Master Chief is fighting his way off the Pillar of Autumn, and he encounters a specific elite that you don't see in the games. He's only mentioned in the books, but there's no homage to him in the games of any way, shape, or form. But this elite gets knocked out by the Master Chief and wakes up later and spends the whole book trying to hunt down the Master Chief to reclaim his honor. He fails, obviously, but there was several points in the game where I knew he was supposed to be. Like the books describes him in these places, and I looked for him, and he wasn't there. Or at least something showing that he would be there. Now, if I missed something, please do tell me in the comments. But as far as I investigated, no trace. The needle rifle. Told you I'd come back to that. Um, I wish it appeared more. It only appears in one level that I noticed. That was keys. And I thought that was strange. It's extremely effective against the Flood, don't get me wrong. But I thought it would be a more involved weapon if it was in the main campaign. Honestly, I was watching a Cammy Shep video, and he, before the game released, even early access, and he said that he thought the needle rifle was only going to appear in the prequel missions. So that's what I was expecting, because big YouTuber says what, and then I was playing the game and I was walking around and I saw in the corner of the screen pick up a needle rifle. I was like, "Fuck yeah!" And ammo for it was extremely limited. I don't think the entire time I had it, I had ever had a full magazine. I think I picked it up maybe 3 times. So I wish it was a more plentiful weapon. But given the nature of the weapon, how it works, I can see why they dialed down how often you can gain access to it. But you can get the fuel rod gun in more missions than the needle rifle. So that's just some food for thought. So the Flood have this thing called a tank form, which is you see several times in the campaign. Tank forms are part of a section of Flood called Pure Forms. And there's 3 of them that appeared in the games, in Halo 3 specifically. The tank form, the ranged form, and the stalker form. And they can turn into each other. Like a tank form can bend over, mutate, and turn into a stalker. And I was surprised that they didn't do that in Campaign Evolved. That was very strange. I was looking forward, because with the new weapons in the sandbox, I could see how a ranged form and a stalker form could be incorporated into the combat system. Surprised they weren't. Speaking of tanks, the Scorpion tank. Got 2 nitpicks about this thing. 1, I wish it was in 2 betrayals. Because I don't know if it's ever explained why it disappears. I don't know if there's a lore reason behind it. If like the UNSC just needed their tank back, so they flew it back to Alpha Base or something. I don't know. But I wish the tank was in 2 betrayals. I was really hoping that they would pull a page out of SPV3's book, the fan-made remake of Combat Evolved. But they didn't, which is whatever. That's why it's in the nitpick section. Second thing I don't like about the tank is that they took away control of the chain gun from the driver. Because the Marine AI ain't the greatest. So when you want to shoot something that's right in front of your tank, if you shoot it with the cannon, it's gonna blow up your tank or kill someone on the treads. So you want to use your minigun. Oh wait, I can't because I don't have control of it, and the Marine that was on it died. So that was a little frustrating, but as short as the tank segment is, I guess it didn't really make a difference. But yeah, that's the things I liked, didn't like, and my personal nitpicks of Halo Campaign Evolved. In the end, I welcome it into the Halo family. It's a lot of fun. The graphics are great. It's a modernized version of a classic. I really hope, now that they've threw the snowball down the hill, I hope they do the same thing with Halo 2 and Halo 3. Because they kind of have to now. Because they set stuff up like Keyes' pistol, for example. Are we ever going to see Master Chief hand it to Miranda? Hopefully. Thank you all for watching. This has been a heartfelt review of Halo Campaign Evolved. If you agree or disagree with me on anything, hit me up in the comments. Just try to keep it peaceful, because like I said earlier, I'll respect that you have your opinion as long as you respect that I have mine. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you later.